Today I'm a little too tired to think of something clever, so let's just roll the logo. Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and this is Game News and Week in Review. I am exhausted. It's been a very tiring week. We'll talk about it more in the topic of the week. Good exhausted. Always good exhausted, but it's one of those weeks where I don't want to think of a topic, I don't want to think of a pre-roll, I just want to sit here and talk to the camera. I've done one of these before. This is not going to be a dedicated video this time. It's going to be part of my topic of the week. Sometimes weeks are just long and hard and not hard, exhausting, but amazing. We'll talk about it. Anyways, let's go ahead into it. News and week in review, all those things, timestamps down below. Let's go ahead and start off with assorted game news, industry stuff, content creator things, all that stuff. Then into game news. Then from there into the topic of the week, which will just be me being tired for 20 minutes or however long it takes to not be tired anymore. Then follow by that with the what I played. And then following what I played. See, this is what I mean. I'm all over the place. We're going to go from topic of the week into what I played, and then into the videos of the week. And that's basically going to be the sequence. Timestamps and links to everything down below. Let's go ahead and start this off. So, starting off with some content creator stuff. First of all, Devin Talks Tabletop. I've recently been talking about his channel because Devin, a good friend of mine, who has also done videos on this channel and done videos on Quacklope's channel and done lots of blogging and writing and been in the content creator space for a while, but his channel's really been taking off. Part of that is there is an active giveaway, and now that I've said the word giveaway, I have to warn all of you, please make sure not to reply to anyone in the comments that says, hey, you've won Telegram at Board Game Co, Kingdom Death Monster, go ahead and give us money so we can send you your game. All communications for giveaways should be done via email with the official content creator, properly, make sure you know you're talking to, all those things. Anyways, back to, it's been getting worse. The comments have been getting worse. The spammers have been getting worse. So now whenever the word giveaway is even mentioned, I have to warn everyone. Anyways, there is a giveaway attached to Devin Talks Tabletop's channel that Jesse is running. That said, it's I do recommend jumping over to his channel. He just hit 3K, which is incredible. The speed to which he jumped to 3K was very astounding. And then he's been doing, he just did a 4-hour live stream that had 100 viewers the entire time, which is fairly impressive. He's a character. I love him. He's excellent. I highly recommend his channel if you're looking to be entertained. If you're looking for dedicated, hardcore, here's a board game, here's a review, here's my opinion, you're in the wrong place. But if you want someone who's endearing as he talks about board games in a very rambling, whimsical, amusing way, I particularly enjoy Devin Talks Tabletop content. In other congratulatory news, we have Quacklope reaching 40k. Again, good friend of mine, he just recently hit 40k, 40.1 it looks like, but yeah, Quacklope. In general, you've seen him over on, we do reviews together here and there, we have a full other channel, Quack & Co, that we do stuff together, but if you want to check out any of his videos, content, all that stuff, including the fact that he likes to randomly do giveaways as well, in case you're looking for any of that stuff, that's going to be Quacklope. You can go ahead and check that out as usual. Again, if you watch my channel, you probably know he exists. If you don't watch my channel, then you probably don't see this video. Unless this is the only video you're watching on my channel, in which case, Quacklope. He's another YouTuber. You can go ahead and check him out. From there, into other content creator news, but a little differently this time, we have Dice Tower doing a video on negative reviews are good for the hobby. Negative reviews are good for the hobby, for the Dice Tower. This was a great video, 20,000 views, doing well. Dice Tower, a little known channel, they recently crossed 300,000k. If you want to go ahead and subscribe to the Dice Tower, I can't say Tom's a good personal friend of mine, but I would like to think I'm friendly with Tom and the Dice Tower crew in general. But yeah, 300k, they're a good channel. I highly recommend checking them out. Point is that Dice Tower did a video on negative reviews and how they're good for the hobby. I think it's a worthwhile video to watch. I particularly enjoyed it. I agree with most of what Tom is saying. The only reason I say most, I'm trying to think if there's actually anything I disagree with. There likely was. I mean, it's a 14-minute video. There's bound to be something in there that I would have phrased or done differently. But for the most part, I very strongly agree with Tom's presentation. We'll talk about it more when we talk about the videos that went up this week. But basically, there's always conversations, and there always will be conversations about negativity in the board game space. Is there too much, too little? How is it done? You did this right, you did that wrong. There's lots of these conversations going on at all times. At different points in time, they hit a bit of a crescendo, and then a bunch of content creators talk about it, and then it dies down a bit, and then it pops up again, and then it dies down a bit, and then it pops up again. It never really goes away. I mean, I guess that's true for most spaces and most dramas and whatnot. In the board game space, it tends to be around board game reviewers being, hype men and being too positive, and it's not enough negativity, and then those turn into conversations all the time, back and forth. This is just Tom taking an approach of, hey, negativity is good. We should have negativity. It's a good thing. I understand why others don't always have negativity, but it's a good thing for the hobby in general. I mean, I don't think there's anything amazing that he said in the video, but I agree with it all, and so I think it's worth a watch. It's just in defense of negativity is what effectively it is, and yeah, I agree with him, but it's also hard to do negative content, but we talk about that in a video this week. Then from there we have Chip Theory Games. Now this is sadly news that is too late, I realized, as I was putting this up, but I'll tell you anyway, I guess so that you know. I don't know why I'm telling you anyways. Basically, Chip Theory Games raised all their prices. They raised all the MSRPs. And they try to avoid MSRP raises in general. They've only done so once in the past 6 years, like a $5 hike. They're raising the prices from anywhere from $5 to $20 per game. Basically, they have to deal with the fact that at the end of the day, there are more costs than ever before. Shipping costs are higher, freight costs are higher. They're not immune to those costs. They are sadly and reluctantly raising prices. That's going to be effective June 1st. So by the time you're watching this, it's too late, unfortunately. The good news is I believe they put in free shipping, I believe. So they raised the MSRPs but put in free shipping, which means depending on what you're buying, if you're buying a single item, it might net out to the same amount. If you're buying more, then you're still paying a little bit more. So all in all, I think it's a good thing, but, I mean, not good thing, that's not the way all in all, it's not that bad a thing. They have to do what they have to do. Again, it's the sad reality. I mean, I put out a video, last week's topic, one of the things I talked about, last week's Week in Review, one of the things I talked about was Chip Theory Games and damaged boxes and all that, and I had one person comment saying, hey, you know what? Companies should just charge what they have to charge, and we should be allowed to demand perfection. I hear that stance, and it's not unreasonable. It really is not an unreasonable stance. But the flip side is, they might then go ahead and charge for that price, and you could go ahead and demand perfection, and what's happening is you're implementing a cost onto everyone, onto the entire infrastructure and system, so that you could not be worried about a tiny ding. The more ideal solution, although hard to implement, would be that they charge one price. They charge, $100 for this game, and they charge $120 if you want to guarantee perfect service along the way. That would be the ideal, but it's harder to do that both from a customer service looking standpoint, it's not great, and also just from a practicality standpoint, it's not good. So it's messy. It's messy out there. People have to make decisions, and they have to make decisions based around their entire customer base, not around a subset of their customer base. It always makes these conversations tricky. Point is, Chip Theory Games raised prices, so you got what you asked for, so to speak. Not because of the damaged boxes, because of freight, but you know what I mean. Anyways, from there, Monumental. FunForge Games specifically. FunForge Games, they had a recent canceled campaign in the name of Far Cry. Far Cry was a campaign they were clearly hoping would go one way, and it really did not. FunForge has taken a permanent step back from Kickstarter, according to the most recent updates in Monumental, in Namiji. They're just taking a huge step back from Kickstarter. They're saying they're no longer running Kickstarters anymore. It's not sustainable for them as a system. Monumental and Namiji are going to both be delayed. They're saying you're still going to get your games, but they have to figure out their finances, their systems. They were relying on, well, Far Cry, apparently. And I'm of two minds in the matter, because on the one hand, I definitely am of the mind that you should never, ever, as a company, you should just not ever be using one Kickstarter to fund another. If you have to rely on the success of your next venture to fund your past venture, then somewhere along the line you screwed up. I also am of the mind of the fact that the world's gone crazy, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes you have a product line that doesn't do as well as you'd like, and so other product lines do better, and as a company you do well. Now, normally it happens all the time, left, right, and center with companies. The difference is with Kickstarter, you've sold that product line in advance to people. Meaning, so you've kind of put the risk on the consumer, as opposed to the risk on yourself. Normally, I mean, any company that launches 10 product lines, some of them will lose money, and hopefully as a whole, they'll cover each other. You have too many that lose money, as a company you go under. The difference with Kickstarter is just that the consumer is involved earlier on. So on the one hand, you should keep separate buckets of everything. On the other hand, it's not actually a crazy thing to not. It's just Kickstarter changes the equation. At the end of the day, supposedly you're getting your games. I don't know if you will or won't, but they are so far being communicative. They are so far trying to talk to the people and basically be clear and tell you what's going on. I mean, I backed Monumental, perhaps mistakenly, although I like the game, so I don't know. And I feel bad for FunForge. Again, my general stance with most of these things is that while this stuff sucks, and I'm not talking about scams. Scams are like the worst, but this stuff does suck. Like, no one's happy about having $200 worth of game not come to them. But like, just for me, my usual opinion on these things is that thank God it's not me. Not that it's not me who didn't have the $200 game. I have the $200 game that I backed. But thank God that I don't work there. Thank God I don't have to worry about my job being in jeopardy, my company floundering. There are worse things than losing money on games. I like games. I like money. There are worse things than losing some money on some games, and I'm grateful that I'm not in their position. Similarly, Blacklist Games. Now, Blacklist Games I have less sympathy for. Not no sympathy for, but less sympathy for. Blacklist Games has a similar issue going on. The main problem with Blacklist Games, where I feel less sympathy, let's cover the issue. Short version is they have their Blacklist Fantasy Series 1 and a few other campaigns that are just constantly delayed, and they've been playing this game for a very long time. My main problem with Blacklist Games is that I think there is a balance, and it's a judgment call. To be very clear, it's a judgment call the entire way through, but at the end of the day, I think they made the wrong judgment call. There is a judgment call as to at what point are you fully transparent with your backers. And you might say, well, always, all the time, you should be 100% transparent all the time. I don't think you should. I really don't. And again, that will be one of those things that usually gets me in some hot water with people who are like, of course you should be transparent, we're investors, we're backers. I'm sorry, your $50 does not buy you a button into the gateway of panic that's going on behind closed doors. Sometimes things are not always going well, but it looks like they'll work out. And when it does look like they'll work out, I completely understand a company saying, hey, we're not going to communicate every single problem that goes wrong because it's just going to cause issues. It's going to cause issues because they're going to overload customer service with things that are non-issues. It's going to panic the consumer, the backer, with something that's not a problem anyway. I don't think every single step of the way has to be communicated. I do think there's a certain turning point in which you should communicate to the clients, to the customers, to the backers, what's going on. I think in the case of Monumental, in the case of FunForge, I think they hit that point. They thought things would work, their plan failed, they updated their backers. It's not pretty, it's not pleasant, but I think they took reasonable steps. From my sideline seating over here, I think they took reasonable steps. Blacklist Games, on the other hand, like I've worked with them on different projects, minimally worked with them. Like I've never really gotten like prototypes, so I've done like TTS plays or whatever. I did do they had a Mega Man adventure game that I reviewed, but Blacklist Games as a company, they have, what's the word for it again? There's a word for it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna blank on the word. When you're basically like lying to someone's face, that bugs me. What is the word? I'll think of it in a second. Gaslighting. They're gaslighting. They gaslighted their backers extensively. For a long time, Blacklist Games had potentially clear issues, and they intentionally obfuscated the waters again and again and again and again, even after potential concerns. And then eventually one day they woke up and said, hey, you're right, stop being so like upset about things that that we told you for the past like 9 months you're imagining things, and now it turns out you're right, but like whatever. I think they lost a lot of goodwill. And I'm sympathetic. Don't get me wrong, I'm still sympathetic. But I think they lost a lot of goodwill because they really gaslit their customers for a long time. And so they're going through the same issues, but like the sympathy, it's harder to have sympathy. And I'm not saying, to be very clear, they're having some issues with some people who are harassing employees or ex-employees or whatever it is. That is completely out of order. Don't harass people. Like, just don't. It's not going to get you anywhere. It just makes the problems worse. That doesn't mean I have to appreciate you or have sympathy for you or any of those things. And again, I still have sympathy. A company going under is never a fun thing. A company having any issues is never a fun thing. Yeah. I mean, I didn't mean to spend this much time on it. It's just one company communicated at a certain point. Perhaps you would have wanted it earlier. Another company tried to hide it and lie about it again and again and again and tell everyone that they're crazy and imagining things, and then it turns out everyone else is right the whole time. And that just puts you in a harder situation. That's the game news. Yay. Fun little note there. Moving on to game news. So that was the news. On to game news. Game news. We have Terra Nova from Capstone Games. Terra Nova is going to be a simplified version of Terra Mystica. What does that mean? I don't know. But Terra Nova is a simplified version of Terra Mystica, which has me interested but not overly compelled. I like Terra Mystica. I don't love Terra Mystica. It's a well-rated game. Very well loved. It's just, for me, I'm not doing a review of Terra Mystica now. I like Terra Mystica. I don't love Terra Mystica. Terra Nova from Capstone Games. That'll be coming out shortly. We have as well Star Wars Outer Rim, an expansion. That's not true. Star Wars Unfinished Business, an expansion for Outer Rim. Star Wars Unfinished Business is an expansion for Outer Rim. Gives a few new things. It brings like some AI cards and things like that to the AI deck for the bounty hunters. There's different AI decks in the play, but they're adding an AI deck for the bounty hunters so you can play against them in this for solo play. Adding a whole bunch of new content. I'm kind of semi-intrigued by Outer Rim because I heard someone say this week that it's a faster version of Xayah, and I like Xayah, so I'm intrigued by Outer Rim. If you think that or anything along those lines, let me know because it may force me to pick up the game. But yeah, Star Wars Outer Rim. That's basically has an expansion coming. And then lastly, we have Power Core Call of Cthulhu coming from Board and Dice. Don't know much about this one. It's some sort of 2-player Cthulhu card game. power core system. Don't know much about it. You know all the stuff that I know. And with that, we can go ahead and move into the topic of the week. So, topic of the week. Let's start this off. I'm so tired. That is the topic of the week. I'm just so tired. All good things. I just sat there. Every week I draft up my notes. I have notes that I take in my little notepad or whatever throughout the course of the week. And then it comes time to do the week in review and I draft them all up. And then I sit there and I'm like, what's the topic of the week? And every week I inevitably find something. Sometimes I think of it earlier in the week. Those weeks are better. Usually I'm writing down the other pieces of news as I go, but the topic of the week for the most part, usually I do at the last minute. Maybe it's because it's 1:30 at night as I'm filming this. Maybe it's because today is the busiest day I've had in a very long time. Or maybe it's because this week has been busy in general. Or maybe it's because I started off last week. This week, I don't even know where I'm up to. Last week I was sick, right? I feel as last week I was sick, and I'm drifting into it still this week. That makes sense. You see, I've lost track of everything, but maybe because of any or all of those things. Or maybe it's because coming up today, well, actually, fun fact, I'll be offline. Oh my gosh, I have to prepare for things. I have to prepare all the stuff. I'm going to be offline today, tomorrow, and Monday for the holiday of Shavuot. We have Saturday, which I'm always offline. We have the holiday of Shavuot, which I'll be offline Sunday and Monday. So I'm going to be offline for the next 3 days. Then I have Tuesday, which is going to be basically my one day of the week. And then I have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which will be Origins. Then Saturday, which will be offline again. Then Sunday, which will be Origins. Then Monday, I have Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven Crimson Scales, the guy who did that, is going to be coming down to play with us. So that's Monday. And then Tuesday, I'm semi back to normal. And so I'm exhausted. I'm just exhausted. Happy exhausted. Thrilled exhausted. Like completely over the hills, overjoyed. Over the hills. Something. Overjoyed. Overjoyed. That sounds wrong. I'm happy, is what I'm saying. I'm very happy. Just the fact that I can do this. Just the fact that I can even imagine a week like this is only because I've been able to go full-time in content creation. The idea of having weeks like I do today are just... It would never have happened before. It would never have happened going from a holiday to a convention and missing work and having to catch up on all those things. And there's still stuff to catch up on. There's always stuff to catch up on. I am terrified of the amount of things I am trying to get done this coming Tuesday. And then I still have to do Twitch that night with Professor Meg at Gloomhaven. I'll have Kidsplaining dropping down to do some stuff. The amount of stuff I'm trying to fit into that single Tuesday next week, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to be filming my weekend review for next week on Tuesday because it's the only day I have to film any videos next week. Now, the good news is, most of the videos for this week and next are already filmed. Part of why I'm exhausted. I have to film, edit, timestamp, load up the thing, do the thumbnails, all the stuff for all the videos for the next 2 weeks so that I'm completely in the clear. And I'm mostly in the clear, but there's always time-sensitive content. The time-sensitive content is what scares me. I can't always be on top of everything. And you're like, Alex, take a break, don't worry, you don't need to do a video. You're right, I don't. But it's good to do a video. It's good for the algorithm. It's good for myself for consistency. I like being busy. Not being a workaholic, to be clear, being busy. Like, I'll schedule my fun. Like, one of the things I'm doing, and I talked about this in the past, but I'm leaning heavily into Twitch right now, trying to experiment with it as a platform. Both, Gloomhaven and whatnot, as well as just doing the week. I'm doing random live streams over on Twitch, if you want to check that out. This past week, we streamed Castle of Burgundy, we streamed Endangered, I streamed Endangered. Tomorrow, well, that's not true, this past Thursday, because I'm thinking tomorrow, this past Thursday, I'm filming something, I don't know what. I filmed something, I don't know what. This next week, I won't be filming anything, because I'm going to be way too busy. But there will be more scheduled and unscheduled content on Twitch as I dive into more plays. And that's just something that I'm overloading my day with. But I like overloading my day because it means I'm busy. It means I'm not wasting time, and I don't like wasting time. I don't mind doing things that aren't work, but I don't like wasting time. It's all a classification game. Like, for me, playing games is not wasting time. Reading rules is not wasting time. Spending time with my kids is not wasting time. Spending time with my wife is definitely not wasting time. All those things are not wasting time. To me, wasting time is staring at my phone, popping on Facebook, realizing that somewhere between the hours of 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock, I filmed a 20-minute video and I can't define what else I got done. That, to me, is wasting time. I find the more I cram my day, the harder I push myself, the less time I waste. You have to squeeze, you have to push, you have to condense it all into a single box and just try to get as much as you possibly can. The net result is you'll be exhausted, but you will have been productive. And again, productive does not mean work to me. It means doing things that I want to do. Some of that's work, although work very heavily overlaps with board games. A lot of it's playing games. Part of the reason I'm scheduling more Twitch stuff is because it forces me to sit down and play the games I anyways want to play. It forces me to engage in a campaign. I may do a whole Tainted Grail campaign over on Twitch. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe some of it will be on my own. Maybe some of it will be on Twitch. Maybe it'll all be on Twitch. I haven't figured it out yet. But I'm constantly trying to push myself. And then this past week as well, a lot of this past week has been, again, the sick, the preparing for the next 2 weeks, the fact that I've spent a lot of time this past week learning new systems, buying new technology, learning new systems, messing with programs and codes and keys, and just figuring stuff out. The end result is incredibly satisfying. But the temporary result is exhaustion. I'm definitely exhausted. But happy. Grateful. It's just, I'm happy and grateful. That's what I'll say. I am tired. Again, the 1:30 in the morning does not help. But this needs to be filmed. It all needs to be filmed. It's a conversation. And I've said this in the past. The last time I did a video like this was when I was having a day like today, kind of, where I just pushed myself too far, and I just didn't want to do anything else. And so I sat down and said, I'm not doing a video today. And then I called it, I'm not doing a video today. And that was my video. But I like that. I like that kind of just like, I like it when I hit a breaking point where I'm so exhausted that the closest thing I can do is just sit down in front of a camera and just talk to you. I find it rejuvenating. I find it gives me energy. It reminds me, it's like, one of the things that's an interesting balance all the time. At this point, I feel like this could have been its own video. One of the things that's an interesting balance is inherently when you're on camera, there's a degree of fakeness attached to it. A degree of fakeness. Not fakeness, but a degree of it. You add 10% more energy. There's a little bit more pip, a little bit more buzz, a little bit more just engagement because you're talking to a device. You have to have that. But also, one of the favorite compliments, my two favorite compliments that I get, my two favorite compliments whenever I'm doing YouTube or whatever it is, I love your content. No, I mean, that's great. I love it, I do. But that's not my favorite compliments. My two favorite compliments I get, one is from people who say, like, I hated your channel at the beginning, but you've really grown on me a lot, and I love your stuff every day. Like, that I love. I just, something about the idea of someone who hated me, and then managed to, like, they managed to keep watching my videos, and now they like me, I find that very compelling. But the other one, the point that I am trying to make is, my other favorite compliment is the one when people meet me in real life, and then they say something like along the lines of, like, he's just like he is in person. He's the same person. I love that. Because I always strive to be genuine. I always want to be the same person to you, directly to you, as I am behind the camera. But again, there's that degree of presentation. I'm talking about a board game, I'm reviewing a board game, I'm doing a playthrough, I'm trying to be funny for the sake of engagement, for the sake of the conversation. I'm adding a little bit more nuance to my voice. I'm moving my hands more as I talk because it keeps you more engaged. All these things are part of being in front of a camera. And sometimes being so tired that you lose all sense of, like, for me, the only thing I had on my list for my topic of the week is I'm tired. That was my list. Everything else is just me being tired. But also opening up in a way that you get a little bit more vulnerable when it's 2 o'clock. You get a little bit more vulnerable when it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're 25 minutes into a video and all you've been doing is rambling about how tired you are. I appreciate it. It rejuvenates me in its own way. So does sleep, but we'll get to that shortly. Anyways, that's the topic of the week. Just that. I'm having fun. Don't worry about me. I'm really good. I'm not burning out. Not in the slightest. I love my life. I cannot tell you enough. Anyways, let's go on to the week in review. Starting off with what I played, which are all in my email because I have not even come close to pretending that I'm logging my plays right now. I'm storing them all in my email. I'm missing who knows what. Let's go ahead and find my draft. Dun 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 dun. Okay. This looks vastly outdated. It might not be outdated. I may be missing plays. We're just going to go through it. Anyways, okay, we have Of Dreams and Shadows. Got another play of Dreams and Shadows in. Got a play of Burger Up in from Greenbrier Games. Burger Up's a little bit of a serving game with burgers. Light, simple fun. We have Animalia from Quinad Games. A little bit of a solo trick-taking game. That's what Animalia is. Solo trick-taking. No, yes, solo trick-taking or cooperative trick-taking. It's fine. I'd rather play the crew. We have Gloomhaven. Got multiple plays of Gloomhaven. Got a whole bunch of plays of Gloomhaven as we go through the week. Now that I'm diving into that more online. We have Legends of Hellas. Got multiple plays of Legend of Hellas. which is a lighter, not really a trick-taking game, but just more of a card management, deck management game, cooperative as you try to take down mythical beasts. We have Fluttering Souls from Good Games Publishing. It's an interesting game, kind of has a bit of a, what's the word for it? It has a bit of a Seven Wonders dual mechanic of overlaying cards and trying to take them in the right order. It works well. I like it. It's a good game, but also not an amazingly great game. We have Misty. Misty's going to be from Helvetique. It's a small little box game which you're drafting cards and then placing them down in a window pattern and having some cards move around in different ways and configurations that eat each other effectively, and then the monster eats the flower, and then the flower is left are worth more points. A fun little game, a little too simple in my opinion in terms of what it's doing. It falls into this weird category where it's a little too complicated for my kids and a little too simple for my game group. So it's a little bit of a middle ground, but fun little game. We have Resident Evil. Dove into Resident Evil. Got a bunch of plays of that in, multiple plays. We got another play of Resident Evil. I've been slowly going through the campaign. I may be moving the more of the campaign plays over to Twitch. I haven't decided exactly, but I'm enjoying Resident Evil. May as well play it with other people watching. Why not? We have Steel Coliseum. I think I mentioned this. I'm not sure which ones I mentioned last week. We have Steel Coliseum. I got a play of that in. It's a currently active Kickstarter. Hopped onto TTS with them to get a play in. It's a good game. I liked it. I can't review it yet because I only have one play on TTS. I enjoyed it. My opinions are positive. How positive or all the complaints and critiques, I need to have a full review, and I don't feel equipped to do that just yet. I like it. I don't love it. I like it. Tyrants of the Underdark. I got a play of Tyrants of the Underdark. That one's been in my collection for a while, waiting to be played. I liked it a lot. I don't think it stays. I might keep it around for more plays because I want to try and mix up some of the decks more. It's a deck building game. Board control deck building game. I just don't see a way which I'd rather play Tyrants over Quest for El Dorado. They're different games, to be very clear, but they kind of fill the same spot mentally, and I think I like Quest for El Dorado more. I might get some more plays of Tyrants in first. If I do, maybe I'll do a full review. I don't know. We'll see. We have First in Flight. First in Flight is a prototype. Upcoming, in fact, we'll have a review today, so I'll save my thoughts on this one, but First in Flight. We have Casa Burgundy. Got a play of that in online. Got a play of that was over on Twitch. You can check out that if you want to see the streamed play of Casa Burgundy. I got some games of Get On Board. That's the re-implementation of Let's Make a Bus Route from Yellow Games. Got some plays of that in with Rena. We have Terraforming Mars. I got in multiple plays of Terraforming Mars. I got in a group play of Terraforming Mars, my game group, 3-player game. Solid game. Love Terraforming Mars every single time. Got in a play of Endangered. That's over on Twitch as well if you want to check that out. The name of the channel, by the way, it's linked in the top description. It's Camp Co-op. You can check it out. We have Gloomhaven. 4 plays of Gloomhaven. I don't know if it counts as 4 plays or not, but we lost once and then we reset twice. And when we reset, I count that as a loss. So that's 1 loss, 2 resets, and then a final win over on Gloomhaven. That's definitely on Twitch. Again, you can check that out. All I can say is, from the person I'm playing with, I think I'm the responsible person. Then we have Terraforming Mars, again, diving into Terraforming Mars solo. Got to play with that in. We have Spirit Island that I haven't. Let me go ahead and make a note here because we should have Spirit Island. I got to play of Spirit Island in somewhere here, but does not look like it's logged. So let me go ahead and just log that somewhere. Spirit Island. Just putting it into my notes here. Okay, Spirit Island. And then we have Elric, another play of Elric in. I talked about Elric before briefly, I think, but I got another play of Elric in online this time. I'll be getting another play and probably reviewing it. It's a Kickstarter that was on Kickstarter, then they canceled to relaunch. They're coming back late year. And then I got a play of Dinosaur Island Roar and Write in. The Roar and Write game. Need more plays in that one to talk about it more, but I will be getting more plays in. Probably reviewing it at some point. I don't know for sure. And that's what I played. That's what I got played this past week, or at least everything that I remember. I've really been so bad at taking notes this week. It's just I need to log my plays. In the actual app, I use BG Stats for my app. I'm currently on like May 23rd or something like that. I've just been taking notes in draft form in my email, hoping to eventually migrate them over. Probably should have done that tonight when I was watching something. Yeah. Anyways, so from there, let's go ahead into the schedule of the week. Not the schedule of the week, the videos of the week. What happened this past week, all that stuff. Starting off with this past Saturday. So, this past Saturday was a review for the Guild of Merchant Explorers from AEG Games. Guild of Merchant Explorers, solid game. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I like it. I don't love it. I have complaints. I enjoy it. It's a good game. I just have a lot of games in this category that are good games, and I'm trying to be more selective about which ones I keep as of right now. We have later on Saturday, we had a playthrough of RuneScape Kingdoms from Steamforged Games. That's currently on Kickstarter at the moment. But RuneScape Kingdoms, I got a play of that one in, enjoyed it. RuneScape Kingdoms is always a fun experience. What am I saying? I'm just getting into patterns now. RuneScape Kingdoms, I got a play of it. I enjoyed it. I said it's always a fun experience. I don't know why. It was a fun experience. It's a light game though. It's very much a light game. Understand that walking in, it is mostly just walking around taking skill tests. I enjoyed it and will probably get it to play with my kid, but that should be the keyword. I'm getting it to play with my kid. I think it's good as a gateway game or for gamers who are looking for the RuneScape and want to dive into it. I do not think it's a heavy, hard strategy experience, so just understand what you're backing if you back it. Then from there we had on Sunday. Sunday we had upcoming Kickstarters and GameFound. Fortunately, it looks like June's going to be fairly light. Fortunately or unfortunately. For me, it's always a little bit of balance because my channel has a lot of regularly scheduled Kickstarter content. When there's not Kickstarters, I have a little bit less regularly scheduled Kickstarter content. But I'm fine with it because my wallet's safer, your wallet's safer. I appreciate the break and the slowdown. Some weeks I have to cover like 20 campaigns and it's mentally exhausting. Those videos on Monday, they are easily some of my most time-intensive content. It's usually my entire Sunday, like 10 hours of my Sunday are devoted to running that video, to researching, to prepping, to getting my notes ready, getting all that stuff, and then filming and all that stuff. So that's a whole lot of time. If I told you the amount of AdSense I make on that video, it does not pay well. It does not. Now, the good news is that's probably the most amount of time that I put into a video that's work. Reviewing a game. If I'm reviewing a game, it's obviously more time because of the multiple plays I have to get in. But unless I don't like the game, I count that as fun. Versus the Kickstarter Roundup is not bad, but it's also definitely not fun. I'm getting sidetracked here. Point is, this past Sunday was upcoming Kickstarters and GameFounds. On Monday we had 2 back and not to back. Speaking of a lot of games, although that's partially because I skipped the prior week's 2 back and not to back because there weren't enough, and I'm probably skipping this week's 2 back and not to back because there aren't enough. But yeah, basically on Monday I did 2 back and not to back, 2 weeks worth of data. There's castles, there's arcs, there's Anunnaki. I'm backing Castle of Burgundy. I think I'm successfully holding off on everything else at the moment. I want stuff. I want arcs. I want Anunnaki. I want a bunch of other games. I'm trying to be a little bit more conscientious because there's always those games where I can't be conscientious about because I want them too much. So when I struggle, I usually err on the side of not getting it these days. Usually, but not always. And sometimes I have second thoughts. I just went back. I was doing a late pledge video. When I did my late pledge video this past 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I went ahead and backed a game or two. These videos cost me money. They really, really do. Tuesday was a few things. We had a review for Tiny Epic Dungeons. It's an okay game. I have complaints. I have things I like. I have complaints. It's not a game that I need to play. It's a Tiny Epic game. Usually they fall in the category for me. Later on Tuesday we had a review for Batman Everybody Lies. That one's a game that's also not for me, but in a very different way. Tiny Epic Dungeons is for me, but I don't love it. Batman Everybody Lies is a game that's not for me. I called it not a review, and then I explained what it does, how it does it, what it does well, and why it's not for me. And somebody commented, fairly, saying, why is this not a 2 out of 5? Why aren't you just rating it a 2 out of 5, which by your stance, by your category ratings, that's a game that you're not interested in playing again. And I said, first of all, you're absolutely right. It is a 2 out of 5. Batman Everybody Lies for me is a 2 out of 5. The difference between Batman Everybody Lies and other games I've actually given a 2 out of 5 is once I played Batman Everybody Lies, it became so clear that this is not a game for me. It's not that it is a game for me that I don't like. It's not a genre that I should be playing. What Batman Everybody Lies does, I think it does well, and I think it's nowhere near the genre that I would enjoy in terms of how it approaches it. It's just very... You'd have to watch the review. I don't want to go into it now. I think it does a good job. It's based on the detective system. The detective system has its fans. I'm clearly not going to be one of those fans. Contrasted with, let's say, Pipeline. When I reviewed Pipeline and gave it a 2 out of 5, I don't like Pipeline. I don't want to play Pipeline. But also, I think I am the target audience of Pipeline, which is a slightly different conversation. It's nuanced. The end result is still the same. Both games are 2 out of 5. Just one of them I felt like it deserved the grace of, I just don't think I'm the target audience. And so that's part of the conversation. From there we have, that was Tuesday, no, one more game on Tuesday. We had a review for Western Legends. Western Legends, another game that I think was okay, but I have complaints about. I think Western Legends is fine. I don't think Western Legends is great. I think it's a good game that has way too much downtime. Gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I really like my turns. Really couldn't care less about your turns, and your turns are 2/3, 3/4 of the game, and I really don't care at all about your turns. I can't even, whatever, I don't, Western Legends is a game I don't feel the need to play again, but I like what it does at the same time. There are other sandbox games that do it better for me. On Wednesday Wednesday we had a live Q&A. First off, we didn't have a live video last week because my voice was completely gone. Speaking of which, we probably won't have a live video next week, or at least don't count on it, because I will be at Origins. So if I'm there early enough that I could do a live video from there and it makes sense and it works, I might. I'll have to prepare a thumbnail in advance or something, I don't know. So there's the possibility of a live stream, but don't count on it. But if there is, it'll probably be at 10 a.m. because I like to be consistent, if nothing else. Then from there, we had later on Wednesday, I'm lying, Wednesday, we had 10 games I got rid of and got back again. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's 10 games I got rid of and got back again, just covering games that left my collection at one point or another, and then I was like, you know what? I want that game back, and then I went ahead and got it back, and that's the video, this entire video, except it's 14 games, so that's the video. On Thursday was, I still haven't figured out the title for this, because by the time you're watching this, it hasn't gone up yet. But Thursday is reviews. What is it called again? Why there's less negative content. I'm not calling it that. I don't know what I'm calling it. But it's something along the lines of why I'm less likely to give a negative review, or why negative content is less frequent. I'll figure the title. But it's a video on exactly that topic. Why negative content is less frequent. Specifically focusing on myself, but also covering other reasons. The fun fact is I filmed that video like 3 weeks ago. I filmed it like 3 weeks ago, maybe 2.5 weeks ago, before the conversation was really drumming up. Like that Dice Tower video I mentioned about negative content, I saw that popping up in response to conversations in Facebook groups about negative content, and I was like, my video seems like it's a response to all this stuff. It's not. My video was filmed 2.5 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, before any of this was really happening, just because I was playing through games, and I was looking at my table and saying, I could play games like Spirit Island, or I could get more plays in of this mediocre game so that I could review it. Which one do you think I'd rather do with my time? And that was that's the problem. For me, that's the problem. And you can watch the video, but that's basically, I cover a bunch of reasons why there's less negative content. The biggest one for me is I always deprioritize the games that I'm met on. I deprioritize them. I'm like, I don't want to review you after one play. I also am not in a rush to play you again. And that's the ones that I'm like, I don't even dislike them. Those are just the okay games. The ones I dislike are, I just don't want to play them multiple times. I really, really don't. But you kind of have to if you want to call it a review, or do you have to? I wouldn't feel comfortable calling. I mean, I think you could review whatever, but I would want to give a disclaimer if I reviewed a game I only played once. I'd either call it a first impressions, or for some reason call it a review, but then tell you I only played it once, and then I just feel like I'm not really giving a review. It's a messy situation. I covered in that video. That was Thursday's video. On Friday was a giveaway video. Giveaway video, reminder, as I said earlier, do not respond to any comments whatsoever that say you want to give away and say message you on Telegram and pay you money and, hey, my name's Alex, but it's not really Alex, clearly, obviously. Yeah, that was that. But Friday was a giveaway video, but focused around other content creators. Specifically, it's been a while since I did a shout out to other channels that I enjoy watching. I used to do that back in the day, and I've done infrequent shout outs here and there where I'm like, hey, by the way, I just found this new channel, or Thinker Themer put up a video, or I just found, Chris George, Room and Board. There's all these different conversations around different channels that I enjoy watching where I'll shout them out for moments in time. But I decided to do a dedicated video because it's been a while since I did one, and I enjoy them. And yes, I attached a giveaway to it because why not? That was Friday's video, which brings us to today. Today is two things. I have a review going up for First in Flight, a Kickstarter launching this coming week, and then additionally I have, assuming it doesn't get pushed off, and then I have a review of Bard Sung going up as well. I'm calling this one a review, but also first impressions, because it's like 15 hours into a 100-hour campaign or something, so there's lots of content I have not explored yet, but that's my opinion of Bard Sung based on where I am so far with the experience. Which brings us to next week. Next week has a few things. We do not have a 2-back or not to back. Instead of that, we're actually going to have a video called, I think I'm calling it Fooled by the FOMO, which is an obnoxious title, but I like it. Fooled by the FOMO. It's basically a bunch of Kickstarter games I backed that I probably shouldn't have, and why. You'll see. I go into the video. There are very specific terms of what and why. That is replacing our 2-back or not to back, almost certainly. There's a possibility that I do something else instead, but almost certainly. Then from there we have games leaving my collection going up next week, as well as giveaways as well to the Patreon side of things. That's a Patreon giveaway, and whenever I do my games leaving the collection video, some of those games do go away to patrons. And then I also have what I backed with Rena, going over what I backed and all of that stuff. And that is basically everything next week. And again, no live video, or maybe a live video on Wednesday, I don't know yet. Which brings me to the games on the table. Games on the table, what I have here. These are almost all getting, when am I doing this stuff? When am I playing these? Okay, these are a mistake. I should not have these on the table. Let's explain. So, Lockup and Talisman. Hopefully I can get these played over the holiday. I want to get them tabled. I've had Talisman for a while. I just got the lockup expansion just now. I want to table all that. So hopefully these get tabled this week, you know, Sunday, Monday, or something like that. Or today even. Maybe they get tabled by the time you're watching this, I don't know. Spirit Island, I need to do a solo play of a Spirit Island with the Branch and Claw expansion for Patron, and this has to be filmed. I'm not going to have time to film it this week, so this is going to be gone. Same with Terraforming Mars. This is supposed to be a film playthrough. So these two are not going to happen next week. You can ignore that. I forgot that I only have Tuesday this week, and on Tuesday I have to film with Kidsplaining, film with Meg, and then do all the work for the week, and film all the videos for the week, and film the weekend review, and film Quack & Co. Kickstarter Roundup, and film my Patreon update, and film... Tuesday's going to be hell. It's going to be hell. But also it's fun. I wouldn't have this any other way. I'm grateful for it. So yeah. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Thank you for being here, and as always, have a good one.